The reason why people are confused whether they should stay or leave a relationship, whether that is just a single moment or perhaps it is a chronic thing that you find yourself ruminating about, is because there are equal amounts of negative and positive in the relationship. If there are more positives than negatives in the relationship, we stay in the relationship. If there are more negatives than positives, it is easy for us to make a decision to leave the relationship. But when they are more or less equal, then we will be confused whether we want to stay or leave. So if you're in this relationship where it's neither hot nor cold, it's somewhere lukewarm in the middle, what you can do is head on over to my website under the free resource tab, have a look at the needs list. Circle all of the needs that your relationship is meeting at the moment. And then circle, maybe in a different color, all of the needs that you would like the relationship to fulfill, that it is not fulfilling. And have a discussion with your partner. Have a very detailed discussion. So before you speak to your partner, figure out what are the ways in which I can get this need fulfilled. So say, for example, you need a lot more connection. But what does that mean to you? Because if we just tell our partner that we need connection, they might just message us more and they think that this is fulfilling our need of connection. And there again, it might just be a misalignment of your love languages, where your partner might be trying hard to fulfill your needs and they might feel really not good enough because you might be complaining about your needs being unfulfilled. However, you might not be telling them how to fulfill those needs and really hit those targets. So before you go speak to them, just sit down and figure out what are the exact things and ways that I would like to see in this relationship. So if for you, you would like to have deeper conversations, take that to your partner and say, the way I receive love is when we have deep, meaningful conversations. That is most probably going to be a fearful, avoidant attachment style. The anxious, preoccupied attachment style might need more romantic gestures, while the dismissive avoidant might just need acceptance. They really like it if you feed them and just have something low-key like Netflix and chill. So have a look at what it is that you need from the relationship to tip the scale for you to stay. If your partner is not willing to collaborate with you on this, this is also a very good indication of incompatibility, because the people who really are good for us will want to collaborate with us. But it also is a matter of how we approach things with them. So if you come at it from a very negative and critical point of view, especially if you're dealing with a dismissive avoidant, which most people are on this channel, then you are going to have a lot of resistance. However, if you approach it from a more positive perspective of saying, you know what, I really enjoy our deep conversation, and I know deep conversations, I'm not finishing my words properly. So I really enjoy our deep conversations, and I know that this is not really very comfortable for you, but could we try it? Because it's really fulfilling my need of connection. So, and if your partner goes like, okay, cool, I'm not great at this, but I'm willing to try. And then when they do try, you compliment them. Because anxious, preoccupied, and fearful avoidance tend to do this thing where their partner might show up and they will try, but it's not going to hit that target, and they're not going to do it exactly like you want them to do it, and then you will criticize your partner or say, yes, but. And this is how you're going to set up your partner for failure as well, and set yourself up for failure when you constantly feel like nobody can really meet your needs. Everybody lets you down. And it is because we have that yes, but. Yes, they bought me flowers, but they were not my favorite flowers. Yes, they had a deep conversation with me, but it was more about finance and it wasn't about psychology or spirituality, which I wanted it to be. Okay, so your partner might be trying and you're not really verbalizing what it is that you want, the specifics of it, and therefore it's not hitting the target, you are getting upset and criticizing your partner more, and that makes you want to pull away. I know this might sound counterintuitive, and a lot of the anxious, preoccupied, and fearful avoidants will not want to tell their partner exactly what they want to hear. However, that is just setting yourself up for not getting those things. So, tell your partner, this is how I receive love. This is how I like it. When you tell me that I look pretty. You know, sometimes people react to different words. So sometimes your partner might say to you, oh, you look so sexy. But for you, that's not hitting the mark. So you can ask your partner to just change up the language and say, you know what, when you say I look sexy, it doesn't really do it for me. What really does it for me is when you say I look pretty or I look beautiful. Or when you buy me flowers, that really works for me. But when you buy me chocolates, that doesn't really work for me. Okay, so we need to be able to give our partner the manual on how to love us. And the way to do that is really figuring yourself out. Sometimes anxious, preoccupied, and fearful avoidants haven't figured themselves out. Dismissive avoidants are in the same boat, actually. If we haven't figured ourselves out, if we haven't sat with ourselves and figured out how do I receive love? What does it actually mean to me? How can I measure it? And then we just expect our partner to shoot in the dark and get the target. You know, that's also not fair. So we need to set up our partners for success. And you might think, oh, it takes the romance out of it if I have to tell them to buy me flowers, or I have to tell them to have deep conversations with me, or tell me that I look beautiful. But it doesn't. It just shows that you know exactly what it is that you want. It's like when you go to a restaurant and you just tell the waiter, okay, bring me something that you like. Of course, they are going to bring you something that they like or that is popular with their clients, but it might not meet your needs. So if you're up to just being open and receiving love in the way that people bring you love, then that is great. You know, over this journey, I have started to open up more of my capabilities of accepting love through different love languages. Like my partner likes to show love through acts of service. And when we got into the relationship at first, that didn't do anything for me. I thought, well, I can do my bed. Why do you think that that is going to make any difference for me? And I had this block against receiving love in the way that he was giving it, which really made me feel unloved. Meanwhile, he was trying so hard. He was just like going out and buying things for me when I didn't have the time, when I was on teacher training or I was very busy at work. He would go out and buy the groceries or buy me green juice, and that didn't really touch my needs because I really needed to have deep conversations, to have cuddle time. So until I figured that out, what is my real love language? And I could start telling him, like, this is how I receive love. And partially he came across and he was like, okay, cool, I'm going to try this new thing out. It's uncomfortable for me and I don't really know how to do it because up to this point I haven't trained that muscle. So I'm going to be awkward at it, but I'm going to try. And he tried. And at the same time, what I did is I tried to see and associate love with how he was already showing me love. And that is such a beautiful thing, because when we open up and we are not just so hardly set with receiving love in what we call like my bowl, right? And this comes from my meditation teacher, Essen Gwenka, when he talks about how the mother cooked a kheer, which is this sweet Indian dish, delicious dish, and she gave it to the child, and the child said, I don't like it, and it's not in my bowl, okay? It's not in the way I want to receive it. So we miss out on so much, on being showered with love from not just our partner, but from other people, because we are blind to how they are giving us love. So it takes both, right? You don't want to be self-sacrificial and abandon yourself, your needs, and betray yourself and prioritize somebody else and just appease other people. But at the same time, it's really beneficial to open ourselves up and see, okay, how is my partner really showing me love? Because when we have deep core wounds of being unloved, uncared for, we might be blind to it. But when you actually sit down and think like, yeah, okay, they tried to reassure me. Maybe it wasn't in the way that I wanted it. They didn't hit those words that I really wanted to hear it. But they came across. They came through with that. And you know what dismissive avoidance will often do? Is that in the moment when you're having a conversation with them, they might get defensive or they might just shut down. But later on, you will see a slight change in behavior or a big change in behavior. They will take in what you have said to you without telling you. Okay, and this is at the beginning of healing our attachment. Eventually, what we want to get to is both partners being able to communicate in very gentle ways, in invitational ways, right? But you have to start somewhere. So start where you are. Be very direct with, journal about it. How do I receive love? Okay, what are the positive things that I already have in my relationship? And when you take this to your partner, you can give them a really good, what is that thing in accounting? It's like stock take of like, this is really what's amazing. These are the assets that we already have in our relationship. And this would just add to this relationship to being even more amazing for both of us. And you can do that exercise from both sides. Because most of the time, the other partner also has unfulfilled needs. If you're not having these conversations, then chances are that they also have needs that are not being fulfilled in the relationship, even if you are the anxious, preoccupied, or fearful avoidant who is very hypervigilant, and you're trying to anticipate your partner's needs. Okay, sometimes we're also shooting in the dark. So if you're not having these open conversations in the most gentle, loving, kind way, then chances are both of you guys are not getting your needs met. So having this might just take your relationship to the next level, and you might not have to leave. However, if your partner is dismissing your needs, is not willing to hear you in any shape or form, or is hostile towards you, then that is also an answer that you have to take into considerations. Most of people on this channel will most probably have the anxious, preoccupied, and fearful avoidant attachment style. So please, please, please take care of yourself. Make your needs, your boundaries a priority, and verbalize those things in a way that people can hear them in a gentle, kind, considerate way, so that the receiving party is not drawn into guilt, defensiveness, stonewalling, because if we are very harsh with our language, we can just fulfill our own self-made prophecies that, you see, the world is not going to give me the love that I want. Nobody can love me properly. I'm unlovable. I'm difficult to love. And sometimes we are difficult to love if we do not know what love is to us, how we receive that love, and we are unable to effectively, gently and kindly, that is, communicate that with our partner in a way that is not triggering to them. A part of being effective and emotionally intelligent is also being able to approach people in a way that works for them. Okay? With boundaries, of course. The other person needs to meet you halfway. If they do not meet you halfway, well, there you have it. That is a sign of incompatibility. And that gives you an indication, tips the scale into the side of, why am I here? Maybe this isn't working. All right, and then you make your decisions from there. Thank you for watching. And thank you for all your beautiful comments. I love this community. I love how you guys are just so supportive of each other, how supportive you are of me and this channel. And I just love to see how everybody gets along in the comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your beautiful comments and your questions. Please keep them coming, because then I can speak directly to them and I feel closer connected with you, and I can give you the content that you need and support you in your life. Thank you so much. Big love.